What's going on, guys? Back out in the garage. If you recall, I replaced the one tensioner pulley on this Jeep. This is back on our JKU 2018. So I replaced that tensioner and mentioned that the other two idler pulleys needed to be replaced. Well, here they are, at least what I'd ordered. Very descriptive idler pulley. At least a part number there. I got these on Amazon. We can go ahead and get those opened up here. Just take a look at them. That looks very similar to what's on there now. So we got to get in there and these are identical, the same part numbers. So I'll just open the one for the moment. But we got to get in there and get the other one out. So let's get that done. Alright, so I don't even know if you're gonna be able to see it down in there, but right down in there is the one on the driver's side, and then the one you can just see it. That light isn't quite so bright. That's the guy right there. So what I'm thinking is we'll go ahead and take the air tube out again, and I think at least the one that I can see down underneath the alternator should go pretty easy. The other one I'm not sure. We'll just have to see what kind of clearance we've got once we get there. So let's get that air tube out of the way. Now, I've purposely been leaving my intake air temperature sensor there in place just because it's a little hard to get off there anymore. So rather than to fight with it, I just leave it. So one of them, you can see that right there. That's the one. And it's right behind the water neck. My hope would be if I get the bolt completely out of it, once the tension is off the belt, that I might be able to kind of finagle it out of there. Same thing on that side. See if I can get the light to cooperate. Just there, you can see the bolt head right there. I say that's, no, that's not it. At least not from your view. There it is, right in there. Get that guy out of there, I think. So I kind of thought maybe I could use a ratchet strap to my advantage. If you look down here, you can see that I've got slack in that belt now, and we've got tension on that, so that was the intent. Now to figure out what size that is, looks like it's maybe a 12, 13. just a long bolt and just a real thin washer there. And there's our, yeah, you can hear, boy, them bearings don't last long. These are factory original as far as I'm aware. But man, they are definitely bad. Alright, so we're back over here. This is our old and new. We'll get one of these opened up completely now. Nice, smooth. Definitely the same size round. New one might be just a fraction bigger as far as the width, but honestly not by a lot. There does not appear to be anything that would suggest front and back either. I mean, they look, this is the front of this, your factory, and the reason I can tell that is where the washer was sitting. There's a lot more dirt things there. But even to look at it, it looks to be the same front and rear. And I don't see anything on this that would indicate otherwise either. But I am surprised at the amount of wear in them bearings. And this is the one that I felt had more play in it. I mean, you can tell. I mean, again, this is brand new. I wouldn't expect much different. Comparing the hole diameter, they feel to be the same. So we'll get this one back in there. Wanted to point out something here. So what I was noticing, this is a really large hole through the center of that bearing, or pulley rather. And this is the bolt that goes through there. You can see how much smaller that is. You know, I mean, so the only thing I'm noticing is that at the head of this, there's a little bit of a wedge and then just a flat. Well, that is all that's riding on the actual bearing portion of that. Because if you look down in here, what you're seeing right in there, that is the flat surface that sits against. And it does not, I tried, it does not push up on there at all. So it sits against, you know, this surface, and then the bolt sits against it from the other side. And that's what allows that to spin in there. It's an interesting setup, so not seen one done that way, but that's what you end up with, I guess. So we'll get it back in there. Alright, that first one is done. Let's see if we can get in here. Whoops. Oh shoot. Just throwing it all on the ground. Considerably shorter bolt on that one, but same premise, big opening, sits down in there. It's, again, got the dust shield or whatever to keep it pulled back, but just sits up there against that same pedestal kind of. And this one's got, it's not as bad, but it's bad also. I'm surprised to find 3 for 3 bad pulleys on this at the kind of mileage I've got on it, but I guess it is what it is. We'll get this other one opened up and on there. Again, just, I know it's the same part number, everything, but never hurts to double check it. Same thing. Now, part of me doing this one the way I am is because I really wasn't interested in trying to pull the bolt, or the belt completely out. Well, shoot. Anyway, I didn't want to pull the belt out completely. I'm not dropping this thing again yet. I don't know that it would make it easier or harder. Right at the moment, it's just an awkward angle to get at. Alright, I think I got it started on there. And the way that bolt is shaped, coned, and flat, it should want to bring everything centered for you. Definitely looks like it's doing that. And those don't have to be gorilla tight or anything. I didn't check to see what the actual torque spec was. I just snugged them down good. But if you can see down in there, new pulley. If we can see it, let's see if we can get that out of the way. That's the new pulley right there, and the new pulley here is right up in there. And again, I did not take the belt off. I just was careful to keep it routed where it was as I put those new pulleys back in. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get the tension off of this. We'll get the tension off of this bar, which again I just used a ratchet strap to hold the tension so I didn't have to try to, since I didn't have an extra set of hands out here with me today. Seemed to work just fine. Let's get that undone. Just try to be mindful that your belt is still where it was. Looks to be right. Well, that came off a lot faster than I was anticipating. And we can see down there that everything looks good. Belt looks to be routed where it's supposed to. Belt on the alternator is riding good. So I think we should be alright. We'll get this air tube hooked back up. We should be able to call this one done. Just try to be mindful that your belt is still where it was. Looks to be right. Well, that came off a lot faster than I was anticipating. And we can see down there that everything looks good. Belt looks to be routed where it's supposed to. Belt on the alternator is riding good. So I think we should be alright. We'll get this air tube hooked back up. We should be able to call this one done. Alright guys, that should be that. We'll start it up here. But again, like I said, it just had a constant kind of a, like I said, it was a whirling noise, and like I said, with all these bearings, as bad as they were in these pulleys, that one wasn't terrible. That one's definitely got some noise. And if you guys watched my last video of replacing that tensioner, that one was definitely bad as well. So let's get this thing started up, see what it sounds like. Sounds a lot better. Know for sure when I get a chance to drive it, but for now, huge improvement. One last thing I did want to point out, a subscriber and a friend of mine pointed out that these idlers, these are the ones I just took off, and this is the tensioner from the last video. I don't know if you watched that, but he pointed out that these tensioner pulleys are the same size as the pulley on that. What I haven't done is tried to get into here, but it does definitely look like that's threaded in. What I'm assuming is underneath this would be a bolt of some sort. So we're just gonna see if we can pry on that guy a little bit and get him out of there. It's just a snap clip is all it is, and a Torx bolt in there. Yeah, that's just a snap-on clip or cap to give them the impression that it's non-serviceable, but you could definitely replace that. So if you run into a situation to where your actual tensioner piece is still good, which this one was, but that this pulley was shot, which is exactly what I was running into, if you recall, you can get in there with a Torx bit, replace that pulley. So what I'll likely do is buy a new pulley or two just to have a couple on hand, replace this one on this tensioner. Actually, I guess I don't even have to go that far, but just to have a couple of these on hand wouldn't be terrible, just in case I were to have one catastrophically fail on the trail or something. But yeah, so good tip there to just buy yourself this whole tensioner. The one I bought on Amazon was $50, 55, something like that. These were 17 a piece, I believe, 15, 17. Again, these were not Mopar branded parts. The Mopar parts are much more expensive, but I mean, it's literally a plastic pulley with a bearing pushed into it. It can't be, I don't know how you could do it wrong that much, but anyway, all of those are identical across the board. You could trade this pulley out, you know, take the assembly off, pop this cap off, replace the pulley, put it back. So good tip there for sure. Appreciate that. Could have saved myself a little bit of money there, but you know, again, I'll likely hang on to this, put a new pulley on it, and have it as a spare just in case. Like I said, when you're out trailing, it's hard to tell what you'll end up breaking, and having maybe another one of these on hand wouldn't be a terrible thing. But again, appreciate that. And as always, guys, like, subscribe, and share. Like I said, appreciate you guys, and just out here wrenching on a Jeep, just, you know, for the sake of fun and just keeping it going. All right, guys, appreciate you, and we'll talk to you on the next one.